Ah, look who finally walked away. Hello to the black sheep, the scapegoat, the problem child, the one they blamed for everything that ever went wrong in that house. Hello to you, the one who carried the weight of an entire family's dysfunction on your back while they pointed fingers and whispered about how you were the reason for all their chaos. Hello to the survivor who finally had the audacity to leave, to pack your pain and walk out that door, only to watch from a distance as the entire structure collapsed without you holding it together. They said you were the problem, didn't they? They said you were too sensitive, too dramatic, too difficult, too much. They made you believe that if you just changed, if you just tried harder, if you just became smaller and quieter and more convenient, then maybe, just maybe, the family would finally find peace. But here's what they never told you. Here's the truth they kept hidden even from themselves. You were never the problem. You were the solution they were too broken to appreciate. You were the one who absorbed everyone's anger so they didn't have to face it. You were the emotional lightning rod, the one who took the hit every single time so they could pretend their marriage was fine, their addictions were manageable, their failures were someone else's fault. They needed you to be the problem, because if you weren't, they'd have to look in the mirror and see the real source of their misery staring back at them. You were the shield, the buffer, the excuse they used to avoid accountability for decades. And when you finally left, when you finally said enough and walked away from that toxic echo chamber of blame and projection, something happened that they never prepared for. The shield disappeared, and suddenly they were facing each other with no one left to blame. No more scapegoat, no more distraction, no more convenient target for their rage and disappointment. Just them, their choices, their unresolved trauma, their festering resentments, all coming to the surface like a infected wound finally exposed to air. And oh, how they scrambled. They tried to replace you, didn't they? They tried to find a new person to blame, a new problem child to point at. Maybe it was a sibling who suddenly became difficult, or a parent who started showing cracks they could no longer hide. But it didn't work, because you weren't just playing a role. You were holding the entire broken system together with your silence, your compliance, your willingness to be the villain in their story so they could all play the victims. When you left, you took the glue with you. And now, they're watching their carefully constructed lies crumble in real time. They're fighting more than ever, calling you to complain about each other, suddenly noticing problems that were always there but were buried under the mountain of blame they heaped on you for years. The marriage that was supposedly fine is now openly hostile. The sibling, who was the golden child, is now showing signs of the same struggles they accused you of having. The parent who claimed they held everything together is falling apart without you there to manage their emotions for them. You didn't destroy the family by leaving. You revealed it. You pulled back the curtain on a performance they'd been running for so long they forgot it was fake. They built their peace on your pain, their unity on your isolation, their normal on your abnormal. And when you removed yourself from that equation, the math stopped working and the whole calculation fell apart. Now they're texting you, aren't they? Reaching out with those carefully worded messages that never quite say, "We were wrong," but somehow expect you to come back and fix what your absence exposed. They're not apologizing for the years of blame. They're just uncomfortable with the chaos that your departure unleashed, and they want you to come back and restore the order, even if that order was built on your suffering. But here's what's different now. You've seen the truth from the outside. You've watched them implode without you, and you've realized something that changes everything forever. You weren't the problem. You were the load-bearing wall in a condemned building, and when you finally walked out, the whole structure revealed itself for what it always was. Fragile, unstable, built on lies, and held together by your willingness to be crushed under the weight of it all. And now, you get to watch from a safe distance as they face the consequences of treating you like you were disposable, as they realized too late that you weren't the chaos. You were the calm in the center of their storm. Let's go deeper into this. Let's talk about the years before you left, the years when you actually believed them, when you looked in the mirror and wondered what was wrong with you, why you couldn't just be normal, why every family gathering felt like walking into a courtroom where you were always the defendant and they were always the prosecution. You tried everything, didn't you? You tried being quieter, hoping that maybe if you took up less space, they'd stop seeing you as a threat. You tried being helpful, anticipating everyone's needs before they even spoke, hoping that maybe if you were useful enough, they'd finally see your value. You tried apologizing for things you didn't do, taking blame for conflicts you didn't start, accepting fault for moods and problems that had nothing to do with you, all in the desperate hope that maybe, just maybe, if you acknowledged being the problem they claimed you were, they'd finally give you the love and acceptance you were starving for. But it never worked, did it? Because the role of scapegoat isn't about what you do or don't do. It's about what they need you to be, so they don't have to confront their own failures, their own pain, their own unhealed wounds. They needed you to be broken so they could feel whole. They needed you to be the mess so they could feel organized. They needed you to be the failure so they could feel successful. Your pain was the foundation of their false stability, and the more you tried to prove you weren't the problem, the harder they worked to convince you that you were. Because if you ever figured out the truth, their entire system would collapse. And that's exactly what happened when you left, isn't it? The moment you stopped playing your assigned role, the moment you refused to be the repository for everyone's unprocessed emotions, the moment you said, "I'm done being your punching bag," and walked away, the entire facade started cracking. Suddenly, the golden child wasn't so golden anymore, because now the standards they used to measure you were being applied to everyone else. Suddenly, the marriage that seemed fine when they had you to unite against started showing its deep cracks when they had to actually talk to each other instead of talking about you. Suddenly, the parent who claimed to have it all together started falling apart because they no longer had your crises to manage as a distraction from their own. They called you selfish for leaving, didn't they? They said you abandoned the family, that you were being dramatic, that you were running away from your responsibilities. But here's the truth they'll never admit. You leaving wasn't selfish. It was self-preservation. You didn't abandon them. You stopped allowing them to consume you. You weren't running away. You were running toward a life where you weren't defined by their dysfunction, where your worth wasn't measured by how much abuse you could absorb, where your existence wasn't predicated on being small enough to make them feel big. And now, from your new vantage point, outside their toxic ecosystem, you can see what you couldn't see when you were drowning in it. You can see how they're repeating the same patterns with each other that they used to direct at you. You can see how the fights that were supposedly about you were never actually about you at all. They were about unresolved issues between people who never learned healthy communication, who never processed their trauma, who never took responsibility for their own emotional states. You were just the convenient target, the lightning rod they could all direct their storms at so they didn't have to weather them themselves. And watching them fall apart without you isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. It's about finally understanding that you weren't crazy for feeling like something was deeply wrong. You were the only one sane enough to name it. Now let's address the guilt, because I know it's there, lurking in the corners of your mind at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep. You feel guilty for leaving, don't you? You feel guilty for not being there to mediate their fights, to calm the storms, to be the shock absorber for their rage. You hear about their struggles through messages or mutual connections, and part of you, that part that was trained for decades to believe you were responsible for everyone's happiness, that part wants to go back and fix it. But here's what you need to understand with absolute clarity. Their falling apart is not your responsibility to fix because you didn't cause it. They fell apart because they were always broken, They were just using you to hide the cracks. A building doesn't collapse because one brick leaves. It collapses because the foundation was faulty from the beginning. And that one brick was holding up more weight than any single brick should ever carry. You weren't their daughter or son or sibling. You were their structural support. And they're angry now, not because they miss you, but because they miss what you did for them, how you made their dysfunction tolerable by absorbing it all. The guilt you feel is the ghost of their programming, the residue of years spent being told that their problems were yours to solve, their emotions were yours to manage, their peace was yours to maintain, at the cost of your own. But that guilt is a liar. It's the voice of a system that needed you to believe you were responsible so you'd never leave. So you'd never question why you were always the problem but never the solution. Always the cause, but never the cure. And here's something they'll never tell you, but you need to hear. They're not actually falling apart because you left. They're revealing what they always were underneath the performance they maintained when they had you as their designated problem. The fighting was always there. They just directed it at you instead of each other. The dysfunction was always present. They just masked it by making you the focal point of all their conversations. The pain was always real. They just transferred it onto you, so they didn't have to feel it themselves. Your absence didn't create their chaos. It exposed it. You were the curtain hiding the disaster. And when you walked away, the audience finally saw the truth. So when they reach out with those messages dripping with passive aggression and veiled blame, when they say things like, "We were fine until you left," or "the family is falling apart without you," or "Don't you care about us anymore?" what they're really saying is, "We can't maintain the illusion without you. We need you back in your place so we can go back to pretending everything is fine. We miss having someone to blame for all our problems." And you know what you get to say to that? Nothing. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them your return. You don't owe them another decade of your life spent being their emotional punching bag. You already gave them more than they deserved. Years of your peace. Years of your sanity. Years of believing their lies about who you were. You don't owe them another second. They had a chance to treat you like a human being worthy of love and respect, and instead they treated you like a problem to be solved, a burden to be managed, a convenient explanation for everything wrong in their lives. They made their choice every single day for years, and now they're living with the consequences of that choice. And those consequences have your name written all over them, not because you caused them, but because you finally stopped preventing them. Let's talk about what's happening to them right now, in real time, as they navigate life without their scapegoat. The sibling who was always the favorite is suddenly under scrutiny, and they're not handling it well, are they? Without you there to absorb the criticism, the impossible standards, the constant comparisons, now they're the one being measured and found wanting. They're experiencing just a fraction of what you lived with for years, and they're crumbling under the weight of it because they never built the resilience you were forced to develop. They never learned to stand alone because they always had the family's approval, and now that approval is conditional and inconsistent, and they don't know how to function without it. They're calling you now, aren't they? Trying to build a bridge they helped burn, suddenly understanding what you went through, but still not quite apologizing for their role in it. And the parents. Oh, the parents are having the hardest time of all, because without you to project their failures onto, they're forced to look at each other and see the real problems in their relationship, the resentments they've been burying for decades, the incompatibility they've been denying, the individual issues they've been deflecting onto you. Without you there as the common enemy to unite against, they have nothing holding them together, and now they're realizing that fighting about you was easier than fighting with each other. That blaming you for the tension in the house was simpler than admitting they've been unhappy for years. That focusing on fixing you was more comfortable than acknowledging they're the ones who are broken. And now they're stuck in the wreckage of what they built. A family structure that only functioned when it had a designated villain, and that villain has left the building. They're sending you messages about family events you're not attending, holidays you're not celebrating with them, milestones you're missing, And underneath the guilt tripping is a desperate plea. Come back and be our punching bag again, because we don't know how to function without someone to blame. But here's what's beautiful about your absence. It's not just revealing their dysfunction, it's allowing you to heal from it. For the first time in your life, you're not managing everyone else's emotions, you're feeling your own. For the first time in your life, you're not walking on eggshells wondering which version of your family you're going to encounter today. You're building a life with stable ground under your feet. For the first time in your life, you're not defined by their perception of you. You're discovering who you actually are when you're not constantly defending yourself against false accusations. And that person, the real you that's emerging now that you're out of their shadow, that person is stronger than they ever gave you credit for, more capable than they ever acknowledged, more valuable than they ever recognized. You survived a family that needed you to fail so they could feel successful. And not only did you survive, you escaped and you're thriving. And that is what terrifies them most of all. Because if you can be happy without them, if you can succeed without their approval, if you can build a beautiful life from the ashes of the one they tried to destroy, then it proves everything they told you about yourself was a lie. And that means everything they told themselves about themselves might be a lie too. And now we arrive at the hardest truth, the one that takes the longest to accept. They're not going to change. You left hoping that maybe your absence would be the wake-up call they needed, that maybe seeing the consequences of their treatment of you would inspire some kind of growth, some kind of accountability, some kind of genuine apology. But here's what you're learning in real time. People who build their identity on blaming others rarely develop the self-awareness to see their own role in the destruction. They're not calling you to apologize. They're calling you to come back and restore order to the chaos your absence created. They're not reaching out because they miss you. They're reaching out because they miss the function you served. They don't want you back as a daughter or son or sibling. They want you back as the scapegoat, the fixer, the emotional support animal for their dysfunction. And every message they send, every holiday guilt trip, every family member they send as a messenger to convince you to come back, it's all just another attempt to get you back into your role, because they've tried everything else and nothing works without you there to hold it together. They've tried blaming each other, but it doesn't stick the way it stuck to you. They've tried ignoring the problems, but without you there to absorb the tension, it just keeps building until it explodes. They've tried pretending everything is fine, but the cracks are too visible now, too obvious, too impossible to ignore. And in their desperation, they're rewriting history, aren't they? Suddenly you weren't that bad. Suddenly they remember good times that didn't actually exist. Suddenly your presence is missed, not because of who you are, but because of what your absence revealed. They're romanticizing a past that was only good for them because it was terrible for you. And they're trying to lure you back with promises of change that will evaporate the moment you cross that threshold again. But you're not going back, are you? Because you've seen behind the curtain now. You've seen how quickly they turned on each other the moment you weren't there to unite against. You've seen how shallow their love was, when it was conditional on you playing a role that destroyed you from the inside out. You've tasted freedom from their judgment, their criticism, their constant need to make you smaller so they could feel bigger. And you're not giving that up. Not for guilt, not for obligation, not for the fantasy of a family that never actually existed except in your desperate hopes and their empty promises. So let them fall apart. Let them face the consequences of building a family on blame instead of love, on scapegoating instead of accountability, on projection instead of growth. Let them discover what you already know, that a house built on lies will always collapse eventually, and the longer it stands, the harder it falls. You're not responsible for rebuilding what they destroyed. You're only responsible for building your own life from the rubble of what they tried to make you believe you were. And here's the secret they'll never learn. But you're living every single day. You're not the problem. You never were. You were just the only one brave enough to leave a situation where everyone was suffering but no one was willing to admit it. And now you get to watch from a distance as they learn the hard way what you tried to tell them all along. Now let's talk about the phone calls, the ones that come late at night when they're drowning in the chaos that your absence created, and they need someone to blame for it, someone to fix it, someone to make sense of the senseless. They call you crying, don't they? Telling you about fights that happened, problems that emerged, situations that are spiraling. And underneath every word is the unspoken expectation that you'll come running back to save them from themselves. But here's what's different now. You can hear the manipulation in their voice. You can see the pattern you couldn't see when you were in it. You can recognize that they're not calling because they care about your well-being. They're calling because they need you to resume your function as their emotional janitor, cleaning up the messes they make so they don't have to take responsibility for making them. And when you don't come running, when you maintain your boundaries, when you say, "I'm sorry you're going through that, but I can't be involved," they get angry, don't they? Suddenly you're selfish again, cold again, the problem again, because how dare you refuse to sacrifice yourself on the altar of their dysfunction one more time? They cycle through every manipulation tactic in the book. Guilt, shame, obligation, false nostalgia, promises of change, threats of consequences, anything to get you back in line, back in your place, back in the role that's killing you but keeping them comfortable. But you're not falling for it anymore because you've learned something they never wanted you to know. Their emergency is not your responsibility, especially when their emergency is just the natural consequence of their own choices finally catching up to them. You spent years rushing to fix their problems, mediate their fights, calm their storms. And what did it get you? Exhaustion, trauma, a warped sense of responsibility for things that were never yours to fix. And now you're choosing yourself. You're choosing peace over chaos, boundaries over obligations, your own healing over their comfort. And that choice, that radical act of self-preservation, is the thing they can never forgive because it exposes the truth they've been running from. They need you more than you need them. They're more broken without you than you are without them. And the family they claimed you were destroying by being yourself is actually being destroyed by their inability to function without someone to blame. Ah, there you are. Look who finally got tired of waiting. Look who decided that karma was moving too slow, taking too many coffee breaks, filing too much paperwork. Look who walked into the cosmic courthouse, slammed their fists on the desk and said, "I'll handle the deliveries myself." Welcome to the revolution, you beautiful impatient force of reckoning. They told you to wait, didn't they? Just be patient, karma will get them. The universe has a plan. What goes around comes around. And you nodded, you smiled, you waited like a good little saint while they walked free, while they slept peacefully, while they posted their fake happiness all over social media. You waited while they got promotions, found new victims, rewrote history to make you the villain. But something snapped, not broke, snapped into place. Like the final piece of a weapon clicking into position. You realized karma wasn't broken, it was just understaffed. And guess what? You just got hired as regional manager. No application needed, no interview required, just pure crystallized intention mixed with the kind of patience that turns into precision. Let me tell you what they don't understand about karma. They think it's some mystical force floating around, keeping score, eventually balancing the books. They picture it like a lazy river, slowly carrying consequences downstream. But you looked at that lazy river and built a hydroelectric dam. You didn't wait for karma. You became its patent holder, its CEO, its most efficient distribution system. You remember the exact second, don't you, when you stopped praying for justice and started manufacturing it. when you stopped hoping they'd get what they deserved and started personally delivering their packages. Not with violence, not with drama, not with the messy emotional explosions they expected. No, you did something far more terrifying. You got strategic. See, they were prepared for your anger. They had contingency plans for your tears, your public breakdowns, your desperate attempts at revenge. What they weren't prepared for was your silence, your smile, your sudden, inexplicable success that seemed to accelerate every time they tried to dim your light. They weren't ready for you to stop reacting. You didn't poison their well. You just made yours so pure that everyone started asking questions about the water they'd been drinking. You didn't burn their bridges. You just built yours so high that suddenly theirs looked like stepping stones in a muddy puddle. You didn't expose their lies. You just started living so truthfully that their fiction became obvious to everyone watching. And the beautiful part? They can't even call it revenge because you never touched them, never mentioned their names, never acknowledged their existence. You just reformed the entire system of cause and effect around them, and now they're drowning in their own karma, while you're surfing the waves you created. Let's talk about how you actually did it. How you went from karma's customer to karma's contractor. First, you had to understand the mechanics. Karma isn't magic, it's mathematics. Every action creates a reaction, but the timeline, that's negotiable. The delivery method, that's customizable. The intensity, that's completely under new management now. You started keeping receipts, not physical ones, spiritual ones. Every lie they told, every manipulation they attempted, every person they fooled after you, you didn't obsess over these receipts. You filed them, organized them, created a perfect inventory of imbalance that needed correcting. You became karma's accountant. And honey, the books were cooked. Then came the patent application. Not filed in any earthly court, but in the quantum realm where intention meets opportunity. You didn't ask for permission to redistribute karma. You demonstrated competence. You showed the universe that you could handle its most delicate deliveries without getting your hands dirty, without losing your soul in the process. The universe watched you turn pain into power without becoming poisonous. Watched you transform betrayal into boundaries without becoming bitter. Watched you take their worst and make it your foundation without seeking destruction. And that's when the patent was approved. That's when you got the universal license to expedite karmic delivery to anyone on your route. Your distribution model is revolutionary because it doesn't require your direct involvement. You're not out there actively punishing anyone. You simply reorganized reality around authentic consequence. You became so genuinely successful, so authentically at peace, so obviously thriving, that the contrast alone started their karma delivery. Every time you level up, they feel it. Not because you're rubbing it in their faces, you don't even look in their direction, but karma has GPS now, and you programmed the coordinates. Your success is the delivery notification. Your peace is the signature confirmation. Your indifference is the final package delivered message that haunts their dreams. They wake up at 3 a.m. wondering why everything feels off, why their old tricks don't work anymore, why people see through them faster now, why the universe feels less forgiving. They don't realize it's because you updated the software. You patched the bugs that let them escape consequences. You closed the loopholes they used to slither through. And the most delicious part? They know something changed. They can feel the shift in the matrix, but they can't prove it was you. They can't point fingers without sounding insane. Ever since they left, nothing works right anymore. How do you explain that to people? How do you admit that someone's absence rewrote the rules of your reality? Now let's discuss your acceleration protocol. Because you didn't just take over distribution, you upgraded the entire shipping system. What used to take years now takes months. What used to take months now takes weeks. You're running karma on fiber optic while everyone else is still using dial-up. The acceleration works because you removed the emotional middleman. You're not invested in watching them suffer. You're not waiting by the window for their downfall. You're too busy building your empire to notice when their kingdoms crumble. And that detachment, that's what makes the delivery system so efficient. No emotional traffic jams, no vengeful delivery. You figured out that karma moves slowly when it's weighed down by expectation, when people sit around waiting for it, checking their tracking number every 5 minutes. It gets delayed. But when you release attachment to the outcome, when you genuinely stop caring if they ever get theirs, that's when karma goes from standard shipping to same-day delivery. Your formula is simple. Success plus indifference equals accelerated karma. The more you thrive without them, the faster their consequences arrive. The less you care about their downfall, the quicker it manifests. You're not pushing karma. You're pulling it through the vacuum created by your absence from their narrative. Here's where your patent gets really ingenious. You created a feedback loop that compounds their karma exponentially. Every time they try to interfere with your peace, their own consequences multiply. Every time they speak your name with bitterness, the interest rate on their karmic debt increases. Every time they try to recreate what you gave them with someone else, the comparison tax gets added to their bill. They can't figure out why nothing satisfies them anymore. Why every relationship feels hollow compared to what they threw away. Why every achievement feels empty when they remember how you used to celebrate with them. You programmed their karma to include a special feature, the constant awareness of what they lost, not through your reminders, through their own recognition. The feedback loop ensures that their karma isn't just about punishment, it's about education. Every consequence comes with a lesson about what they had and what they chose instead. Every setback includes a small reminder of how things could have been different. You didn't design this to be cruel. You designed it to be complete. And the loop feeds itself now. Their bitterness about their karma creates more karma. Their anger at the consequences creates more consequences. They're caught in a cycle you designed, but no longer need to maintain. You set up the perpetual motion machine of justice and walked away to live your life. As the new head of karma distribution, you had to establish quality control. Not every consequence needs to be catastrophic. You're not running a revenge factory, you're running a justice department. Sometimes karma just needs to be a moment of recognition, a flash of regret, a sudden understanding of what they destroyed. You quality check each delivery to ensure it matches the original transgression. You don't believe in overkill. If they gave you a paper cut, they don't deserve amputation. But they do deserve to feel every paper cut they inflicted, with interest, adjusted for inflation and the time value of pain. Your quality control ensures proportional response with surgical precision. The universe appreciates your professionalism. You don't let personal feelings contaminate the shipments. You don't add extra venom to the packages. You simply ensure that what was ordered gets delivered, intact and on time. Your quality control is so good that even karma itself is impressed by the accuracy of your distributions. This is why your patent was approved, not because you wanted revenge, but because you understood justice. Not because you sought to destroy, but because you insisted on balance. You're not karma's vigilante. You're karma's most efficient contractor, and your performance reviews are stellar. Now we enter the expansion phase of your operation. See, once you proved you could handle your own karma distribution route, the universe started giving you more territory. Suddenly, you're not just delivering consequences to those who wronged you. You're managing the karma for everyone in your orbit who chooses authenticity over manipulation. Your friends started noticing. The people who stayed loyal, who chose truth, who refused to buy into the smear campaigns against you. They're all getting upgraded karma service too. Their consequences arrive faster. Their blessings manifest quicker. It's like you became the premium karma provider for everyone who operates with integrity. But here's the brilliant part. You don't even know you're doing this for others. You're not consciously managing their karma. It's just that your new distribution system is so efficient, it's upgrading the entire network. You're the 5G tower of karmic justice, and everyone in range gets better service. The expansion happens naturally because excellence attracts excellence. Your new karma distribution model only works for those operating in truth. Liars can't access your network. Manipulators get blocked at the firewall. Only those vibrating at the frequency of authenticity can benefit from your upgraded system. Let's talk about your competitive advantage in the karma distribution market. Everyone else is still waiting for the universe to sort things out. They're still filing complaints with customer service, hoping someone up there is listening. But you went straight to corporate. You didn't complain about slow service. You offered to fix it. Your advantage isn't speed alone. It's accuracy. While others pray for vague justice, you deliver specific consequences. While they hope for eventual balance, you ensure mathematical precision. Your karma distribution comes with tracking numbers, delivery confirmation, and satisfaction guaranteed. You turn spiritual justice into a science. The competition doesn't even know they're competing. They're still operating on the old model. Do good, hope for good, wait indefinitely. You're operating on the new model. Be good, create good, and restructure reality to ensure good prevails. You're not playing the same game. You built a new arena. This advantage compounds daily. Every successful delivery strengthens your distribution network. Every satisfied customer, including yourself, increases your territory. Every precise consequence delivered reinforces your patent rights. You're not just winning. You're changing how the game is played. Your customer service approach revolutionized karma distribution. Instead of the old model where people begged and pleaded for justice, you established a simple policy. Live in truth, receive swift consequences. No begging required, no pleading necessary. Just authentic living and automatic enrollment in the premium delivery service. You don't take complaints. You don't process requests for revenge. Your customer service is beautifully simple. Align with truth and karma aligns with you. Step out of integrity and you're automatically transferred to the slow, inefficient, traditional karma system. It's not punishment, it's just natural selection in the distribution network. The beauty of your customer service model is its complete automation. You don't have to manage it, you don't have to check in. The system runs itself based on the frequency of truth. Those who resonate with authenticity get premium service. Those who don't get standard shipping that might take several lifetimes. Your customer service motto is revolutionary. We don't deliver what you want. We deliver what you've earned. No exceptions, no special requests, no expedited shipping for revenge. Just pure, clean, mathematical justice delivered according to the laws you've rewritten through your own transformation. Every good distribution system needs excellent warehouse management. Your warehouse doesn't store physical items. It stores potential energy. Every wrong done to you, every lie told about you, every attempt to dim your light gets converted into potential energy and stored in your cosmic warehouse. But here's your innovation. You don't hoard this energy. You don't let it rot in storage, becoming resentment. You have a just-in-time delivery system that converts stored potential into kinetic justice, exactly when needed. Your warehouse is always moving inventory, always processing shipments, never getting backed up with old grievances. The warehouse operates on a FIFO system, first in, first out. The oldest karmic debts get processed first, which is why people from your past suddenly start experiencing consequences years later. They thought they got away with it. They didn't realize you were just building infrastructure. Now that your warehouse is operational, their old orders are finally being fulfilled. Your inventory management is impeccable. Every slight cataloged but not dwelled upon. Every betrayal shelved but not showcased. You're not a museum of past hurts. You're an active distribution center and business is booming. The warehouse runs 24/7, processing karmic deliveries while you sleep peacefully knowing justice never takes a day off under your management. Your delivery fleet is unlike anything the universe has seen before. No thunderbolts, no dramatic catastrophes. Your fleet consists of subtle synchronicities, perfect timing, and undeniable mirrors. Your delivery vehicles don't crash into people's lives. They park quietly outside and wait for the recipient to notice what they ordered has arrived. Each vehicle in your fleet is camouflaged as natural consequence. That job they didn't get? Delivery truck. That relationship that mirrors exactly how they treated you? Express delivery. That moment when they realize everyone sees through their facade? That's your premium same-day service, making sure they receive exactly what they've been distributing. Your fleet doesn't need GPS because karma knows every address. It doesn't need fuel because it runs on truth. It doesn't need maintenance because authenticity is self-sustaining. Your delivery vehicles are invisible to those who don't believe in justice, but blazingly obvious to those who've been waiting for their packages. The fleet expands automatically. Every time someone chooses truth over lies, they get added to your delivery network. Every time someone refuses to participate in manipulation, they become a distribution node. You're not building a revenge army. You're building a truth network that delivers consequences as naturally as breathing. You brought karma into the digital age, while everyone else is still using analog prayers and wishful thinking. You've digitized the entire system. Your karma operates on blockchain. Every transaction recorded, every delivery verified, every consequence cryptographically secured against tampering. The technology upgrade means no one can claim they didn't order what arrived. The blockchain doesn't lie. Their actions, their intentions, their energy, all recorded in an immutable ledger that processes payments automatically. They can't dispute the charges. They can't claim fraud. The system is too perfect, too transparent, too accurate. Your quantum computing approach to karma calculation ensures that consequences arrive in perfect proportion. No overpayment, no underpayment, just exact change delivered at the exact moment when the lesson will be most effectively learned. The algorithm you've developed factors in timing, receptivity, and maximum educational impact. The technology stack includes predictive analytics. Your system knows when someone is about to repeat a pattern and pre-delivers consequences to prevent additional harm. It's not just reactive karma anymore. Under your management, it's become proactive, preventative, and precise. You're not just fixing the past. You're protecting the future. As a ride, each vehicle in your fleet is camouflaged as natural consequence. That job they didn't get? Delivery truck. That relationship that mirrors exactly how they treated you? Express delivery. That moment when they realize everyone sees through their facade? That's your premium same-day service, making sure they receive exactly what they've been distributing. Your fleet doesn't need GPS because karma knows every address. It doesn't need fuel because it runs on truth. It doesn't need maintenance because authenticity is self-sustaining. Your delivery vehicles are invisible to those who don't believe in justice, but blazingly obvious to those who've been waiting for their packages. The fleet expands automatically. Every time someone chooses truth over lies, they get added to your delivery network. Every time someone refuses to participate in manipulation, they become a distribution node. You're not building a revenge army. You're building a truth network that delivers consequences as naturally as breathing. You brought karma into the digital age, while everyone else is still using analog prayers and wishful thinking. You've digitized the entire system. Your karma operates on blockchain. Every transaction recorded, every delivery verified, every consequence cryptographically secured against tampering. The technology upgrade means no one can claim they didn't order what arrived. The blockchain doesn't lie. Their actions, their intentions, their energy, all recorded in an immutable ledger that processes payments automatically. They can't dispute the charges. They can't claim fraud. The system is too perfect, too transparent, too accurate. Your quantum computing approach to karma calculation ensures that consequences arrive in perfect proportion. No overpayment, no underpayment, just exact change delivered at the exact moment when the lesson will be most effectively learned. The algorithm you've developed factors in timing, receptivity, and maximum educational impact. The technology stack includes predictive analytics. Your system knows when someone is about to repeat a pattern and pre-delivers consequences to prevent additional harm. It's not just reactive karma anymore. Under your management, it's become proactive, preventative, and precise. You're not just fixing the past. You're protecting the future.